Welcome back to TFG Wednesdays. It is TFG Wednesday. We forgot that it is exit meetings and all kinds of stuff. So we apologise for not being out Tuesday morning on in your ears, and sometimes we get it up Monday night on YouTube. But Tobes, we're here, and no doubt a big weekend for you, the end of the season, not the season that you guys would have loved. How's the last few days been?
Yeah, apologies for the slight delay. I was a bit, Sunday night got a bit large on me, so I was struggling Monday morning. Then we had exit reviews Monday arvo. Then today had our team meeting one, and then sort of the leaders catch up after that. Certainly not when you want to be finishing footy, and it feels kind of weird to be done so early in August. Like it, just a bit hollow, a bit numb. We went through it today in the review, which was hopefully beneficial. Like we sort of had a graph about our last 4 years, and it's sort of been 3rd, 5th, 7th, 12th. So that was pretty damning. Like I'm sure people wouldn't have sort of realised that. We hadn't won a final since 2023 either. We're certainly not where we want to be, and we've got a lot of work to do, and that was as clear the evidence as you could see. So plenty to work on, mate, plenty to discuss, and pre-season will be a bit longer next year because we're finished early, plus the season starts later, so a lot of time to work on things, which will help. But that was probably the glaring, statistic and piece of evidence from today's end of season exit review as a team.
We'll address the elephant in the room later about your future. So anyone listening, yes, I'll ask Toby about his future. But let's just quickly talk about what you just went through there. What goes on in these meetings and also leadership group meetings? We'll get into Stringer and Hogan and all these other moving pieces. But like, what kind of dynamic? Like, what's it like? Like, is Stringer in these meetings even though he's leaving? Is the coach up there? And then there's their strength conditioning giving you programs on these days. Then leadership group. Like, what are you addressing? What do you talk about?
Yeah, I wouldn't know. So the full team one, which was today, that's the last thing you do. That's Kingers mostly, and he sort of talks about what went well during the year, what didn't, what our plan is going forward. And what I just spoke about was sort of the overarching theme. Like, it's not the talent we've got in the room, it's not good enough to be tracking the way we're tracking, and something needs to be done urgently to fix that. So that was I guess the theme of it. And then there's little things around how that can happen. And then Jacko, the head of strength and conditioning, will finish off with just discussing your program for the off season, what we need to get out of it, what it looks like, its duration, when we start running, and then like all those little individual stuff is what people do in their individual meetings. This was just a more general team consensus, like pre-season's longer next year, so that was also a part of it as well.
No one likes a long preseason, Tub. No one likes a long preseason. Although you're a veteran now, you come back. When would you come back if you were to return?
Well, our official date's November 25. So I don't like anything starting with an N. That's not attractive. We'll work on Kingers on that. We'll see how we go.
That's spring carnival, Kingers. Like, is he? Come on, Kingers. You want a successful season. You got to give the boys the spring.
Yeah, well, I don't think that'll be the case. We don't have much of a leg to stand on, but yeah. And then no opening round, plus the MCG out of use next year, round 1. So I think the season starts 2 weeks later than what it did for us this year.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. There you go. I can see you drinking some Level Up. What's your thoughts? The batch just rocked up.
Good, mate. I've got the passion fruit. I like it. I need it.
Tell you what, Jeza must have had a fair bit of it. He didn't tell us last week he's gone a half back. We'll talk a bit of footy and we'll get to a few other things later. Let's start with Jeza, but he's playing off the half back. Had no idea and he looked elite. And they reckon he might stay down there. He's on the podcast next week ahead of the big final. What's your thoughts on just the Coleman medalist and the goal-kicking machine playing half back?
No, I think it's good with his arm. He's obviously struggling a bit with that, and as a key forward, you got to crash packs and take marks out in front, which is probably the one thing that he's struggling with. So I think it's smart for him. He's a great use of the footy, got good legs, and is pretty agile. So, no, I think it's a smart decision. I don't reckon he'll do it next year, but I think it's a smart call for the rest of this year.
Well, he's one of the best coaches in the land. Right, let's get to your game. You're playing in the big Texans' last ever home and away game against the Crows. Jeza put on a clinic. So did Stringer. They both kicked 6. The atmosphere looked amazing if you're a Crow, but even playing against them, you guys are a bit slow to the party. But the fascinating news coming across everyone's desk was you put up an Instagram story asking for some size 11 boots. Talk to me about this one.
Yeah, it was. It's not the first time I've done it. I'm sort of a little bit renowned. Well, this one was bad though because I went to try. We didn't have captain's run on the Friday, which we usually do, and I'd wear boots there. But just because we had a 6-day break and we were going to do it in Adelaide, but it was just a run and a jog. So I did that in runners. Didn't think about boots. And then when I went to the airport, I put my boots in the back of my car, knowing that when I put my bags in there, I'll put my boots in the bag because I can't not see them. But at the last minute, I took George's car and then took that to the airport, parked there. So I didn't think about it. That was a Friday. Then Friday, captain's run, didn't need them, wore runners. And then Saturday at like 5:30 in the afternoon, because we're playing a night game, starting to pack my bag. I'm like, fuck. I reckon I've left my boots in my car. And it's 5:30, so I start Googling Rebel Sport, JD Sports, Puma, everything. They're all shut because it's Saturday at 5:30. Then I called Cheese straight away because I know he's Puma. I called Witters straight away. I know he's Puma. They didn't have spares. Cheese was already at the ground. He didn't answer. And I'm like, fuck. So I'm in trouble here. Start calling Dill Addison, our welfare manager. I'm like, mate, need some boots. Like, how are we going to get some? Start thinking of everyone I know in Adelaide. And then I just thought, the best way to connect with people these days is social media. I had about 1,000 replies and 10 of them were helpful. But it ended up being James Peatling. So Xavier was speaking to James Peatling, and he wasn't playing, but he was coming to the ground, and he had a really old pair of Pumas from like 4 years ago. They were banged up. They were horrendous. But I had to just sneak into a pair of size 10. So I didn't kick great, didn't play too well, and we were horrendous. So it was a pretty bad day, mate.
So you've slid into the 10s, and were they JPs or were they just another boot?
No, JP is like old ones from 4 years ago. He doesn't wear Puma anymore.
He sold you a lemon. He sold you a lemon. He said, "Here's a pair of boots, one size too small." And 4 years ago, they looked average.
Yeah, they were average, but yeah, that was the best I could come up with, mate. I did have Will Swale, who you might know from Dill who works with Dill Buckley, and he had some sort of ready to go. But by the time I got to the ground, you got to put your phones away, and I was cooked.
Jeez, how much did your heart start beating? I've been there. I've forgotten stuff, or I've been late because you've misread the meeting, and things like that really rattle you, don't they?
I was actually all right. I was like, and then the worst comes to worst, I was going to wear Ryan Angwin's size 11s Adidas, which people wouldn't have been thrilled about, but I had no option. So I actually wasn't too worried. I was like, I'll be fine. I'll get a pair of boots at the very least. Just might not be being Puma, but yeah, ended up getting it done. And
there's a real good opportunity here with Puma. Like, I can already see the skit video next year for their campaign where, you're literally playing out this exact thing and someone runs the boots on the ground and you go, "Thanks, mate," and then bang, Puma logo.
Yeah, I spoke to Declan from Puma, who is in charge of their ambassador program, and he said, "Mate, can't get you any. No one's sort of around." It was Saturday night. People are probably at the pub or doing stuff or going to the game. We're already there. And he said, "If worst comes to worst, just wear another pair, mate." But I can't help you.
That's unbelievable.
Is what it is.
Probably the worst time slot. Yeah, shops are shut. People are out drinking beers or at the game, and you're also in Adelaide. Oh, well, big shout out to JP. You got to say thanks to that.
He was good.
Old Giants fan, obviously a Crow. What about the night though? Was it real loud? Texan kicking snags. Stringer was kicking some good goals as well. But was it a good atmosphere?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was unreal. yeah, they obviously started like a house on fire. They were kicking goals from everywhere and sort of game over by quarter time, which was disappointing. But yeah, the crowd was great. It was pretty electric there. And Crows, yeah, they'll finish 6th, I think, and then so they're a bloody solid team, and those big boys get going. They're dangerous.
Speaking of leveling up, we were just talking about it when you were drinking the passion fruit. I was going to mention this segment later with someone who leveled up on the weekend, but it's pretty obvious. Like Isaac Rankin's someone that you've been massive on. We could clip it up from the start of the year where you said he's someone that's really underrated. He's had 35, kicked 4, and he got benched at the end just to put himself on, on ice and rest the legs. But he has had the best last 8 weeks I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, he has. He won me a Supercoach grand final. He's been electric in the midfield, and it's not like he didn't have talent and wasn't well known. He just probably had that incident last year and then really struggled the first 8 weeks on the back of that this year, probably as sort of had been documented. And once he got back into his groove and got that midfield roll down pat, he's a massive threat going into finals.
What do you think Adelaide can do in finals? They're obviously 6th. Most teams don't make it outside of the 4. But do you have any inkling of these sides like Carlton and even the Pies? They've had a couple of injuries we'll talk about in a second. But do you give them a chance?
I give Adelaide a chance and Geelong, yeah. I think it's hard after that, though. I don't think 7th or 8th will be doing much damage. But I think that anyone in the top 6, I wouldn't be surprised if they make a prelim.
Yeah, 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th, which we'll get to later with the Dogs v Pies and Blues v D's. Should be a cracker. Legends games coming up, mate. We'll talk about
that Thursday.
What's brewing with our friends here at Inglewood Coffee Roasters. And the biggest thing brewing is Thursday night, the Legends game. Have you got a little pass mark for me? I didn't do much last year. Dill Buckley burnt me inside 50, didn't kick a goal. Is there anything?
No, you did fuck all last year. So just something better than that would be good, mate. Yeah, just try and get a bit dangerous.
I haven't got any boots, speaking of boots. So are you coming to Melbourne soon? I hear you might be meeting up with Geelong and a few other clubs. Can you maybe bring down some boots?
I can bring some Pumas down, mate. I can do that for you. Are you 11 though?
I'm size 11.
All right, yeah.
10 and a half, 11. I used to wear all brands. They all, they stopped. I feel like I just had an interview with Strawny. He's rocking the Career Savers. Sometimes the sponsors jump on and off when you're not getting selected, mate. So I used to rock whatever was going. But yeah, mate, I might just slide into some Pumas.
Yeah, we can do that. We can organise.
Give me the ones where you're kicking straight. What's going on with the goal kicking? You can blame the boots this week.
No, my last 2 weeks were bad, but I felt like I was pretty good the last 10 weeks before that, and then the start of the year I was sort of inconsistent as well. So it's a big work on for me in pre-season, I reckon, mate. Something that you can't take for granted. Like you got to kick your easy set shots and kick 50% of your hard ones.
Any celebration ideas? If I can kick a goal for the Legends game, any ideas?
I'm not a big celebrator, but
I'm thinking this is my celebration idea. I've actually got to give this one to me mate Medcraft. He reckons mouthguard in, Soho cherries in sock, set shot. Mouthguard goes into sock, Soho cherries go on the head. Take the full 30 seconds, so the TV time's on. Go back, hopefully kick the goal. And then if you're near the boundary line, maybe a James Hird hug because that's what he needs after Spike's been given the gig. And then give the Sohos to some fans in the front row. That's a little bit of what I'm thinking.
That's a great idea. Yeah, you should do that. That's a cracking idea.
There's a lot to play out there. Like I have to get a kick, have to get someone to lower the eyes, got to seat forward off the wing.
Get someone to hit you up. Get friends with Dusty or one of those boys going inside 50.
I've been speaking to Harmsy. Harmsy's fit. I said, mate, I'm out of shape and I haven't changed direction. I had a kick, but I would like a cheapie, just a cheapie. I'd like it 30 out, just so if I miss it, it's fair enough. I don't want it to be 10 out. I get a bit nervous if it's too close. You know those ones where you're meant to kick them?
Yeah, I had one of them on the weekend.
That's good. Well, looking forward to it. And I had a little, as I said, Tommy Talks coming out later in the week with Strawny. He had a bit to say for you. He's addressed. I'll clip that up for next week and play it. He had some feedback, which was good. Anyway, let's keep going down the Inglewood Coffee. What's brewing? It's the biggest thing today. Spike McVeigh, our former coach, is a former interim coach for you, has been announced the new coach of Essendon. Give me your thoughts on that one.
Yeah, I think it's a bloody hard job. He's got a bit of work to do. There's obviously a lot of conjecture around certain individuals at Essendon wanting Hurdy to get the job, which brings some pressure on him already to start with, while that probably isn't necessary or required on coaches that haven't coached a game. So I think it's a bloody tough job. He's got a lot of work to do, but he'll be great with, uniting a group, motivating players, setting, a great culture. I guess the way he goes about it is motivating players as well to get the best out of themselves. So, yeah, pumped for him. He's a bloody good man, and as you know, you would have spent a bit of time with him. He runs a hard ship, but he does it fairly, and he expects that of himself. So, I'm pumped for him, mate. It should be it's a tough job and probably the most pressure you could be under for a coach coming into a role that hasn't played a game yet. Like, I think that's sort of underrated. So he's got the right mentality to handle that. But it's excited to see how he can go and where he can take them.
Well, the good news is he's got Nate Caddy up in the forward line, kicked 6 on the weekend. He's just a superstar, and he's someone that you certainly would love to coach. So he's got a few weapons there. They've gone to the draft. They'll probably go again. I'm pretty sure they've got $7 million to play with as well. So who would you be targeting if you were Spike?
Oh, probably Zach Bailey. But it doesn't sound like he's an option. Like targeting that's out of contract, or just in the comp?
Probably this year or next year. There's not a lot. A lot of them are re-signing. There's a lot of players that we were thinking about 6 or 12 weeks ago. They've all started to sign. Like Humphreys, he's signed.
That's the type of player you would go out for, though, like 22 to 25-year-olds that'll be there for the next 10 years. Because that's you probably don't see them playing finals in the next 2 years if you're being honest. So someone that can be there for the rebuild, that want to be part of that and put a bit of work into it.
You get some Luke Parkers. Like Luke Parker goes to North, and then you get a few of them.
I think that's a good idea as well. People who are good for culture and expectations and can contribute and understand, where the club needs to get to and how you can do it. So, I think a good blend of both of them.
We'll get to your future at the end. I want to just continue here with what's brewing with our friends here at Inglewood. Jakey Stringer announced to be moving back to Melbourne. Did you know before the press conference and his 6 goals on the weekend that was probably going to happen as a skipper?
Yeah. He had a bit of conversation probably 3 or 4 weeks ago that it seemed more unlikely than likely, and then by a week or two to go that it wasn't going to happen. So String's form's definitely sort of warranted, an opportunity somewhere else. And he's, if you need someone to kick goals, he's bloody good at it. So hopefully he does get an opportunity. I know he spoke to the Pies, and hopefully that lands for him. But his ability inside 50 is just as good as anyone, really.
Well, he's had a great year, man. Like watching him on the weekend, he's ready to go. Like if you're in a premiership window, you'd be silly not to get him involved.
Yeah. Well, it's the type of forward, depending on what you want. Kind of that Jack Dunstan role, like not obviously different players, but similar ability inside 50. So if that's what you're chasing, he'd be a great fit.
And then Jesse Hogan has been linked as well. I don't want to put you under the pump, but it sounds like there's a few boys leaving.
Yeah. Well, that's a tough one, Hogs. The way it sort of played out for him, it's been unfortunate. I do feel for him because he's had put in a mountain of work to get where he got to at the Giants and turn his career around essentially and become the best key forward in the competition for a period there, and had some things go against him this year, certainly with his body and his ability to perform, and that hasn't helped him in an important year, I guess, contract-wise. And I just really hope he continues to play footy because his forward craft, while different to String, is, his ability one-on-one and his contested markings, as good as I've ever seen when he's been at his peak with that ability. He goes about it in a different manner, but he knows how to get the best out of himself. And knows that how to get his body, up and going, which he just couldn't get this year. He just couldn't get any continuity. He didn't do much of pre-season, and it really affected his form.
Well, there's going to be a few big holes in that forward line, and Cadman's flying, but it's going to be interesting to see what that lineup looks like. We'll obviously talk about your future as our last segment. So anyone listening, don't worry, we're going to be peppering Tobes because he's going to be open and honest about it all. So we'll get a good idea on TFG Tuesdays. It'll come out on Wednesday this week due to all the exit meetings. Right, let's get some more footy. Your 450th goal in JP's boots. You might have to hold on to them boots, mate. That's something that they might put in some sort of, next to the memorabilia down there at the Giants. There's no trophies yet, but those boots would be worth a lot of money. You're the 82nd player in league history to kick 450. I don't know how many players have done it at the Giants, but it's funny that you've done it in JP's boots.
Yeah, I didn't know I didn't know I was a life member on the weekend either. The 300 AFL games. So Craig Jennings come up to me before the game and goes, "Do you know you got AFL life membership today?" I said, "Nah." So that's not bad for grand final tickets. So that was a positive. And then I didn't know about the 450 either. But I think 500 is an unbelievable achievement. I think 300 games is an unbelievable achievement. So hopefully I can strike both of them next year, and that's something that you certainly be proud of post-footy, I reckon.
Now, the All-Australian team will be out when this podcast goes out, so I've got to put that out there. But there's a few people that were robbed. Anyone that you thought was robbed?
In the squad?
Yeah.
Not to make the squad. Harry Shees was stiff, but there's a lot of good midfielders around.
Connor Iden was one. I know he's a Giant, but he does. If you watch him closely, he plays his role every week. And I've seen some other names in there. We know that a few Swans players have been taken out, so that opens up a fair few options. And I just couldn't believe he wasn't in the squad.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the backs closely. But, mate, he'll probably finish top 3 in our BNF, so he's highly rated. And I've said it for 3 years on this podcast, like, he's as hard a player as to play in the comp. And I hope he can get there in the next couple of years because he's definitely got the ability and he's done it for a long time. I think he finished 5th or 4th in our best and fairest last year, but I think out of him and Clary and Ashy, one of them will win the BNF. So, like, he'll be right up there.
What about your year? How have you? Because I don't get into the individual stats, mate. But you've had a pretty good year. You weren't in the squad.
Solid. I sort of started a little bit slow and a bit rusty, playing midfield as well, which probably not a great. Not great that I did 2 weeks of preseason and then had to play mid the first 6 weeks. Took me a while to get my legs going and humming, and then felt like I had a really good, or not like a good 12-week block, and got my form going and felt good, especially ahead of the ball. And then the last couple of weeks just kicked at goal poorly, which was disappointing, but felt dangerous enough. So, yeah, it was solid, mate, but I wasn't thrilled. Like, I didn't think it was unbelievable. So I'm keen to sort of have a good pre-season and really try and dominate ahead of the ball next year, and because I know it's just so important to give yourself every chance.
34 goals this year, averaging 20 disposals. Pretty stiff.
Yeah.
I know you don't want to talk about yourself, but I just thought in the squad, I know some people want to scrap the squad and just have a team, but I just thought you'd be around the mark. Anyway, you were a former captain of that side only a couple of years ago, so pretty hard to get in there. Yeah. Anyway, it's probably what happens when you don't win enough games. They're probably looking at more teams in the top 6, top 8, top 10. Let's go quick fire.
Fair enough.
I've got some sneaky stat mates questions without notice before we start. But what do you think of Collingwood's decision not to rest anyone against Brisbane? Their ladder position couldn't really change depending on that outcome. And now you lose Pendles, Maynard's banged up, and you head into a knockout format for the rest of the year. Did you think that's poor management?
Well, Pendles knows what he's doing. He's played more games than anyone in the history, but it would seem that he's probably the one that would rest if you're 38. Nick Dacos, I can understand, probably wanted to play, make sure he wins a Brownlow. Probably doesn't get any votes as a result of the scoreline anyway, though. Yeah, No, I think, well, you back Pendles in. You know what he knows what he's doing. I'm sure they would have had those discussions, and Maynard got injured training, so they can't do anything about that. So,
Yeah.
I don't know what their theory would have been. And maybe Pendles rested 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but that's perhaps why.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing. I'm just asking the question. So if anyone listening, don't get angry. It's just a question we've got on the run sheet. Let's go quickly. Did Nick Watson just steal the mark of the year?
Well, Katz's was pretty good as well. But his was unbelievable. He might have won it round 24 and goal of the year round 24.
He's a superstar.
Conor McKenna.
You got to remember that's in Conor McKenna's goal. That was how many attempts do you reckon it would take you to do that in the backyard?
Yeah, well, the Irish boys are pretty good with the round ball, so it take you a few. There's not much. There's
love
about
your
30
round ball
centimetres.
as well. You love your round ball, but yeah, that was unbelievable. I think we might get goal of the year and mark of the year in the last round. But in the wet, the Wiz just sitting on Liam Baker's head. That is special. It was like a Gary Moorcroft, but like horizontal.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a little bit like that. Actually, you're right.
Here's a real tough one. Is Logan Morris the best young key forward in the comp? 63 goals this season, or would you have Caddy? Which one would you like? If you could pick one, which one would you pick first?
Well, I'm happy with our Cads, but out of those two, I think Nate Caddy would. I'd pick Logan Morris first, but I think Nate Caddy in the Brisbane side would be a bit of a threat as well.
Probably helps with a few.
He's just a genuine natural forward though. Logan Morris, as natural a footballer as you probably see.
Oh, they're just stars, absolute stars. Pick 31, I believe. Crazy to think that all the guys that went before him. That is an absolute gem. Like the recruiters, if you pick him at 31, you get a bit of a head wobble for the rest of your career. Really, that's all you need. Just one of them.
Yeah, you're right. And key forwards usually go a bit higher as a result of the potential, and so he mustn't have been rated that highly to even get to 31.
Nah, that's all. The big boys take time. All right. Well, speaking of time, it's time for a break. When we come back, I'm going to address Toby's future and ask him all the questions about where he's going to be next year and what his next couple of weeks look like. Don't go anywhere.
StatMate makes AFL player stats easy. At the click of a button, you can discover insights like you've never seen before. Disposals and goals to fantasy points, how a player performs at a certain venue, or even when a teammate is out through injury, StatMate has you covered. Don't waste your time. Become an expert in just a few taps of a button. AFL player stats and insights thanks to your new best mate. Download StatMate for free today.
Welcome back to TFG on a Wednesday, Tobes. It's time to talk about your future. I don't really know where to start here, but the season is done at the Giants, and you did say throughout the year that you'll start to look at what you do, whether you head home for some support around the family or whether you'll stay at the Giants. So to make it less awkward, help me out here and tell me what plays out in the next couple of weeks for you.
Yeah. So I guess start thinking about it now properly over the next couple of weeks. And that's what I said to the Giants yesterday. That'll take next couple of weeks and have some discussions around what would that look like if I was to go. Sit down with Georgia, work out family stuff, what we want to do. Obviously, probably thought about it the last week for the first time. Really, I sort of put it to the back of my mind for the whole season. As much as people might find that hard to believe, that's the truth. But and I felt like a lot of people in Melbourne or friends, maybe even some people at the club feel like I'm definitely going, which is not true. I've never felt if I was definitely going, I'd say that now. I'd be upfront with the Giants and make it easy for them. But we're sort of just in a we've got a decision to make, and that's where it sits. Meet with probably Geelong this weekend, I'd say, and. Spike has reached out as well since he got the job and asked, could I catch up? And, I said I'd catch up with him, but it wasn't exactly what I was thinking all year at all. So we'll see how that goes. But, we'll have me and Georgia and the fam will have a good think about that over the next week or two and write it all down, write the pros and cons. Not that there's really cons of either. Either in a fortunate position and just do, I guess, whatever feels right.
It must be. Is it one of the hardest decisions you've had to make?
Yeah, definitely. And if I don't think the Giants could finish top 4 next year, I wouldn't stay. That's kind of where it sits. One thing I want to do with them is win a flag, and that's the best thing I could do ever in footy. If I could win, 2 or 3 somewhere else, it wouldn't be as good as 1 at the Giants. So that's the basis of my decision staying at the Giants, because family life's definitely harder up here with no support. Not impossible, but it's definitely harder, and we want to have more kids, and that becomes a bit more of a challenge. So that's the family part of it. Haven't even got to really finances or money or that part yet. I wouldn't know them yet. I haven't asked Paul, but I'll find that out on the weekend and sort of go from there.
You've really appreciate the honesty, and I hope everyone else does as well, because that is as raw and honest as it's been. When Geelong, you're going to go do the tour or whatever, like, what does that look like? Is like, you obviously know that a few people down there well through Jeza and that, but like, what's it look like? They just show you around the rooms? Are they showing you like?
I couldn't give a fuck about the tour, to be honest. I couldn't care about what their footy club looks like. They're a bloody good club. They run things well, and that's what I know going into it. I know a couple of the people there, like their welfare managers. He's an absolute star in Wortho. Jez is obviously my best mate, who I've met Wortho through, and I'll meet the footy club and what they think their direction is the next few years. That's probably what I'm worried about. I couldn't care about their weights facilities, mate. I do weights at any time, fitness if I have to. I don't think we'll meet at the footy club. I don't know where that is or when that is, but I've never been at one for really caring too much about facilities.
It's a good point. I
know.
It's a good point. So you'll just meet the key stakeholders at the club, and they'll pitch to you where they think the club will be in the next 3 to 4 years, because that's probably what your contract will look like.
Yeah, and I know, but then on the back of that, I'll have family in Victoria that, and we if we were to go, we'd live down that way, and they'd spend a lot of time with us. So they're a bloody good club, though. Been a good best club for the last 25 years. So it's I don't really know much about how what their training facilities look like or anything like that. It's just that'll be the part of the decision.
What about other clubs? So you've mentioned that Spike obviously just got the gig at Essendon, so you'll go meet up with him for a coffee. Are there any other clubs that you've thrown their hats in the ring, and are you meeting up with them while you're down?
To be honest, mate, I wouldn't know. Like, I don't know if anyone's serious. I'll speak to Paul about that in the next couple of days, and it's not something I really wanted to know. Like, Geelong had never reached out once and spoke to me. Like, Jez had asked me his questions, and that was it. Like, I haven't spoken to anyone at Geelong, and Jez sort of knew that as well, and just knew that I wasn't going to think about it or make a decision till the next couple of weeks. And so but obviously in the media, everyone's saying that Geelong are heavily linked with me, which, they're probably interested, but they certainly haven't reached out or made a proposition.
Yeah, that's good. So it's good for people to know that, because even for me, like, I haven't really spoken to you about it at all. You said you'd talk about it at the end of the year, but it's literally just sitting with Paul Connors. He's your manager. He would have a lot of things on his plate, and respectfully, he has not taken it to you, because you've said, don't take it to me. I want to focus on the year. So when you do catch up with Paul in the next few days, there's going to be things that you had no idea about that'll surprise you. Yeah,
there will be. Yeah, I think Paul's like me though. Like, and he agrees, like, with the Giants, and he'd love to. He knows how much they mean to me and what it would mean to have some success there. And so he just. And I said I don't want to really, I just don't really want to know much. I don't want to have to think about it in season when I'm captain of a footy club and trying to be the best leader I can be and win games of footy. So just thought it was a bit disrespectful to do that.
Oh, you're a good man. Well, let's talk about the Giants. Coach, leadership group, close friends. Toby Greene, he'll be the future captain, no doubt, after you'd think. Have they had any conversations with you? And what have those conversations been like?
Yeah, Kingers has certainly said that he really wants to be part of the footy club next year, and whether and in all honesty, I don't know if I am there if I'd be captain either. I'm a big chance not to be, I reckon, and I think that might be it might be the best thing for the club and for the guys below me to grow themselves as well, and me step back and take a position like that. But that's something to talk about in January or February. But Kingers has stressed how much he'd really love me to be there, and that's and I just said, yeah, I appreciate that, mate, and I know that, and I feel like the boys want me to be part of the footy there next year, and fans certainly want me to, but as I said, I just haven't made a decision yet, and that's where it's sitting. They've been super, comfortable with that, and they've given me they haven't put any pressure on me or anything like that. They've been, they probably should have put more pressure, to be fair, to make their job a lot easier.
When you do make your decision, who's the first person you call?
Yeah, Kingers probably, yeah.
Yeah. And when do you think you'll make that decision?
Oh, hopefully in the next 2 weeks.
Okay. So 2 weeks' time, we'll know which club you'd like to go with or which club you're going to stay with.
Yeah, unless I'm really struggling with it, maybe a bit longer after that. But I feel like it's something I'll be, you just know, I guess.
Yeah. Well, mate, let's park it there because you're going to be down in Melbourne. We'll probably be doing podcasts in studio, so we'll probably do this one together, which would be great. See if we can get
I'll
Jeza
be there next week, mate. I'll be there next week.
Yeah, so we'll do the next one, and you're happy to talk about it. Are you happy to open up the world of what it looks like, when you're trying to make a decision?
Yeah, unless there's something really sensitive, I wouldn't. I'm pretty open book with that sort of things, and don't really care what people know about me too much. I can discuss everything that I feel like this public knowledge would be. I'd be comfortable with people knowing.
Well, there you go. That's Tobes on his future. We've got some wild card games coming up this week, but this is a story that's going to continue, and we've got the great man here. We've got Jeza, who's playing half-back and in finals, which will be exciting. We'll be rooting for him, and there'll be plenty of talk and action down here together in studio. Righto, Tobes, to round out the show, give me a tip. Dogs v Pies. Who wins?
Dogs.
And then we're going to go Blues v D's.
Blues v D's. D's.
And then big shout out to Jakey Melksham. He's hung the boots up. Run into him on the street yesterday. He's just such a good guy, and he's done well off field. And you see his speech online. It's elite. Go tune into the Melbourne socials and have a look at it. But he's been an unbelievable campaigner. 17 years. I think he said he's been playing for a pie and a Coke and a bit of sauce the last 4 years. But he's been so good around the young guys, and I wish Jakey boy all the best. Hopefully the D's can go deep for him, and the Crows can go deep for Texan. Wouldn't that be a great story? Meet the Freo Dockers on grand final day. All right, Tobes. Well, great show. A bit more serious, and it probably will be a bit more serious now. There's less games to talk about, less performances, and more of your decision. But all the best with that one, mate. And hopefully you come to a conclusion soon. Looking forward to seeing what Geelong talk to you about. Obviously, a lot of it will be confidential, but we'll get a little scoop out of you.
Good work, Trano, mate. Go well in this Legends game. We'll get the Pumas on your feet, and I'll be watching intently Thursday night, mate. Play well, don't pass inside 50, and use your legs.
Well, I haven't had a kick in a year, so I think the super goal's 40. So you're happy with 40?
Yeah, 40 would be good, especially if it's a set shot. Get those Rixies on.
Yeah, I'll try my best, mate. Great stuff. Thank you to everyone. Appreciate your patience as well. As you know, exit interviews, we probably should have, that's on me. I should have let everyone know Sunday night. So thanks for the patience. Send this to a mate, and we'll see you back on normal time and programming next week. Cheers.